I want to just list out the coordinator names. That's it. Nice and simple. So what I want to do is create a control that displays a coordinator name. Let's go ahead and create a new file. So we'll call this coordinator.tsx. And now we're going to import React. If I've got a coordinator control, so we'll call this coordinator component. So this is going to be a constant because this is going to be an arrow function, a function component in React. So it takes some props as an argument. For example, we can use name, and then it is going to return some JSX, some components. I want to use typography, and this comes from Material UI. So I'll just go ahead and import that. You can see it added to the import line right above. And so this typography will display the name. So that's a very simple component. Just use typography that applies the right font and all that good stuff to that name, and we can see everything that's going on. So now I want to bind that name up to the name of a coordinator. So this is where we bring Jinaga into the picture, and we're going to have to create a coordinator specification. And this is going to be a specification for coordinator. So I've just imported that, and this here I'm creating a specification. So if I'm starting at a coordinator, what do I want to learn about? And so I give this specification a declaration, and that tells me exactly what it is I want to learn about. I want to learn about their name. Okay, so this name is a property. So I'll use the property mapping. Here I want to bring in the one from Jinaga React. So a property takes a preposition. So in Jinaga, you start all of your queries with a preposition that tells you what facts you're going to match on. So we'll do a j.for. Not that. Well, I want to bring in j from client. I'm already in the client part of the project, so I'll just do a dot slash client, and that brings in j. That's my Jinaga instance. Now I can do j.for, and I give it a template function. This is a function that returns a specification. It tells me what things I'm looking for. I am looking for the coordinator.user, and once I have the coordinator.user, then I'm looking for the username, names for user. So that's going to give me the names. You can never query for just one thing. It always has to be a collection, because you can't guarantee that only one successor is created. So this is going to give you the possible names for that user. Now that we have those usernames, we'll do a selector. So n arrow n dot. These are the fields inside of that fact, so we're going to get the value. And then the default, if we don't yet have a username, is going to be the empty string. So that gives us the name for that coordinator. So starting with the coordinator, go up to the user, then from the user go down to the usernames and map them in. Okay, so the next thing to do is to map that coordinator specification, map the properties to a component. So I can do that with coordinator mapping. And so this is going to be a map props of the specification. And I want to map those props to a component. So I want to map them to my coordinator. Okay, so that means I'm going to have this mapping that will start with a coordinator and then load up all the properties that are necessary in order to display a coordinator component. Now, in order to help me with the typing a little bit, if I look at name right now, it's any. It doesn't know what that is. But here, I know that name is a property that resolves to a string. So if I were to inline this whole thing and put that in there, now I know what the name is. The name is a string. So that helps. So that's why I usually do the map props with the components inline to get all of that type help. Okay, so now I've got this coordinator mapping. This will give me a component, but I need to feed it a coordinator. I'm going to go ahead and export this mapping, and then I can use that here in the office. So rather than getting this array of coordinators, I will have the coordinator container. All right, and that's going to be a collection. Actually, that's the right term there, collection. Coordinator collection. So that's going to be a collection, and it's going to use the same query here, the same predicate. So I want to find, given the office that I'm in, the coordinators for that office. So I've got that collection, and then I give it a mapping. And that mapping is the coordinator mapping, which I import from coordinator, TSX. Okay. So now I've got this coordinator collection. I'm going to use that instead of this coordinator array. So let's use coordinator collection. So in that comes, and it knows that it is something that generates a JSX element. This is a component, a React function component. So all I need to do is display the coordinators at the correct place. So here's my card content. So rather than this JSON of coordinators in the array, let's put in the coordinator collection right there. And there you go. That's going to be just a collection of typography around all of the different names. Let's save that. Come over here and refresh and see if that did the right thing. There we go. Michael Perry is in the list of the coordinators for Calgary. Now that I've got that, I can go ahead and get rid of this ugly thing, which means, do I need that for anything? Coordinator users. Okay, I still need it for the coordinator users. Yeah, that's how I can tell if we're going to add a new coordinator if they're already in the list. So I still want that, but that means that I just need the coordinator user. I don't need the coordinator name. So that simplifies things like that. Okay. In fact, I can simplify that even more if I just say user, and I map that to the field, not fail, field, c.user. Let's map that in, and then that's what I've got. That's my coordinator users array. Okay. So that means that I can Shift-Alt-O, get rid of those mappings, clean that up, and now when I refresh, I won't see those ugly arrays anymore. Very nice. So I just have my list of coordinators. Excellent.